Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to 25th morning. Sorry for the delay. So we were going through a technical issue and now it is resolved. I know I keep coming and saying this. I really apologize for that. But we are working it and I'll hope that it will be fine soon. So anyways, welcome to 25th of November. Okay, and if you're a cricket fan, this is a very wonderful time going for cricket fans right now. How India is playing very positive things coming out of it for all the fans out there. So we'll start with uh, thought for the day. So I'll take something from cricket only. That is, Jasprit Bumrah, who is also known as Boom Boom Bumrah. He's been said he's not one of the best, rather the best bowler in the currently world right now. So he had said something like this: learn from the mistake you made and go forward. So this is, I keep telling everyone, for example, you give prelim examination and you are not able to clear it and the cutoff was 105 marks and you got 95 marks now, or you got 90 marks. The difference of this 10 and 15 marks, that is what you need to find. Where was the difference of 10 to 15 marks? You need to work on these mistakes. That means first you accept the mistake. Most of the aspirants or most of the people in the world, the biggest problem with them is that they never ever accept their mistakes. They are never accepting their mistakes. They would blame on the circumstances, they will blame on the excuses, they will keep doing this, okay, rather than accepting the mistakes. Once you accept the mistakes, things becomes very easy, because after accepting the mistake, you will try to find where is the mistake. Once you are able to find where is the mistake, then you will try to rectify it, you will try to resolve it. So similarly, in this context, you will also try to find out where this 10 or 15, if your marks was 90, and rather than aiming 105, your aim should be 110 plus. Okay, you should try for 5-10 more marks so that the problem does not occur. So here I am talking about prelims or any UPSC MCQ based examination. It can be for any other thing also, that you accept your failure, you learn from your failure and you implement the learnings. Just accepting the failures will also not do. Learning of the failures and implementation, most importantly, even if you've learned these are my problem, history was my problem, polity was my problem, but if you are not implementing those learning, that this is the problem area, this is the area which I need to work on CSAT, I need to work on my mains writing, I need to work on putting effort in these particular subject. If you don't do things, or the bug will not move. Okay, so bug will not move in that sense. So with this positive thing, let's move forward. The important news for today is Mahakumbh of young minds in January to connect you to politics. Good morning everyone. Okay, Iran says will hold nuclear talks with France, Germany and UK. Then in prelims decode, we will talk about International Atomic Energy Agency. Plus, we will also talk about JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or which is commonly known as Iran Nuclear Deal or 2015 Iran Nuclear Deal. Then over time, Baku talks failed to deliver on a new climate finance target. This was very much expected. It was a lackluster event. Most of the developed countries heads and the developing countries like India heads were not present, and India has given very important statements, but nothing great is coming out of this Baku COP29. Editorial: India's urban infrastructure financing needs and reality. Again, a very good editorial. So when it comes to social editorials, I've seen Hindu covers decently compared to the other editorials on international relations or security and other things. So with this, let's jump into the first news, that is Vikasit Bharat Dialogue will be held January to connect you to politics. So this would be around the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, around 11th to 12th January. Okay, so rather on 12th January celebrated as Youth Day. So this is also a fact. 12th January, 12th January National Youth Day. Okay, it is also is the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. So when this birth anniversary will come, we'll also cover Swami Vivekananda in prelims decode. As of right now, let's move forward. So Mahakumbh of young minds in January to connect youth to politics. So the Prime Minister Modi is planning that this event will happen and he will connect youth to politics. If somebody asks me, is this event important? It's not only important, it's very pertinent and very, very important. Why do I say that? Youth is something that who needs to understand Indian politics and it can be, any youth, he can be, he can be aligned to whichever party or whichever ideology. But it is important that he or she understand politics, he understands the connection with the politics, because if you do not take the politics seriously, if you do not take this politics seriously, you will not understand what political party, what are its ethos, what are its ideology, what they want to do with the country, what are they doing with the development, what are they doing with the economy. So comprehensively and holistically, once you start understanding the politics of the country, which party wants to do what, obviously in this event they might to focus more positive side from the BJP, which I can understand, because they are trying to organize the event. If it is rational and neutral in nature, nothing like it. But in the context, it is very important that the youth should understand the politics. If you understand the politics, you can understand which political party and what is their thought process for the coming 10, 20, 30 years. Where do they see India? Where do they see India diplomatically, economically, defense, and in many other facets? So in this context, PM announced Vikas Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue in the recent Man Ki Baat address, aiming to connect youth from non-political backgrounds to politics. Again, I want to bring this. Man Ki Baat is a very good thing in terms of a lot of prelims and mains based questions have come from there. So, for example, if the Prime Minister is talking about some important scheme or some important person or some important poet, those questions have come in UPSC mains and prelims. So, it is better that you listen to Man Ki Baat. If you are not listening, at least if in the next day's newspaper important things will come out related to Man Ki Baat, make notes for that. Here the notes you will get here. So event will be held at Bharat Mandapam, Delhi. This is the same Bharat Mandapam where G20 summit in 2023 was held. Okay, so 11th January to 12th January, Swami Vivekanand birth anniversary celebrated as Youth Day. Crores of youth from India will engage in the dialogue. 2,000 selected youth from villages, blocks, districts and states will gather in Delhi. Special campaign will aim to connect 1 lakh youth to politics. Okay, so basically youth coming, they'll start understand. Obviously in this there might be a context that, the current dispensation government, they might try to promote their political ideology or their thought process, which might help them in the later elections. But having said that, nevertheless, it is important that the youth connects to the politics of the nation. So initiative seeks to encourage non-political youth to take active role in shaping India's political future. Why is this important? Because many youth feel, how are we related to politics? Be it Rahul Gandhi, Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, we are not related to it. They feel disconnected with it. They will criticize that the government is not coming with more employment opportunities, or research and development in institution has to be improved. But then you need to realize which government or which political party is focusing on it, which is focusing on communalism, which is focusing on security, which is focusing or which is very friendly with probably with arch rivals, or what kind of thought process they have. The thought process is towards socialism, thought process is towards private investment, more private job or more government jobs. All this you will only understand once you start understanding politics, once you start understanding the polity also related to that politics. So it aligns with the vision of a developed India, that is Vikasit Bharat. And if youth is engaging, they will most importantly become a very important word, they will become aware of their rights, aware of their thoughts, aware where India is moving. So in this context, they would be having an overall awareness which would help them. PM shared his experience as an NCC cadet, how NCC was helpful in discipline, leadership and services, and there has been a notable growth in females joining the NCC cadets from 25% pre-2014 to 40% today. So this is very good, because once you join NCC, there is a particular drill, there is a particular time you need to get up, and get up morning, and there are a lot of activities you do. It also helps in extracurricular activities, be in terms of social terms, and participating in a lot of cultural activities. You travel to different parts of the country, and then there is also youth exchange program that you can go to different countries. Plus NCC cadets also get, once they become a C certificate holder, they can get direct SSB to join the forces through OTA in the officer cadre, and many have joined. So it's a very good thing in terms of job opportunities and extracurricular opportunities. Plus it also changes your personality as a whole. You become more disciplined. Okay, and obviously you tend to understand India as a country in more holistic way. NCC expansion to border areas to engage youth more. So what is NCC? I've just added a bit of information. The motto is unity and discipline. NCC came in 1948 and it is the youth wing of the tri-services. Okay. Next is promoting literature, culture and heritage. So the Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat spoke about different things. I've just taken out the important fact if they come in prelims. Like he spoke about Chennai's Prakrit Arivangam Library. It is set up by Sri Ram Gopalam, houses 3,000 books, and it is focusing on storytelling, robotics, public speaking, etc. So certain times you must have seen that match the following question comes in MCQs. So I've just taken out the important facts so that it helps you. Now translation of Upanishads are happening into Slovak for cultural promotion in Slovakia. Now it is, so Upanishad is being translated to the Slovak, that is the language of Slovakia. Now the importance of Slovakia also come in the context of what is the geographical location of this place. So this is Slovakia, okay, and so Slovakia's capital is Bratislava. Bratislava. Okay, and if you see the neighboring countries, you can see Ukraine is there, Poland is there, Prague is there, Australia is there, and Hungary is there. Now you see Ukraine is a neighboring country, very important. So Slovakia is also a neighboring country of Ukraine. So Ukraine, a question can come, which are the neighboring countries to, touching the borders of Ukraine? Slovakia. Slovakia's capital is Bratislava, very important location. So it is somewhere in the, middle of the Europe. Okay. Now environmental awareness, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, drive over 100 crore trees planted in 5 months. This is also a campaign going on. Then sparrow conservation. So these are birds. Chennai's Kudugul Trust has prepared 10,000 sparrow nests, increasing their population. So 3 important things coming up. Chennai's Prakrit Arivangam Library, then the translation of Upanishads into Slovak, then environmental awareness, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, and sparrow conservation happening at Chennai's Kudugul Trust. So Chennai is 2 important. Prakrit, our Arivangam Library, and Chennai's Kudugul Trust. Moving further, we have done the map location. Then we have the MCQ. Vikasit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue aim to connect 10,000, not 10,000, 1 lakh. Okay, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam achieve milestone of planting 100 crore. Correct. Upanishads have been translation into Slovak language to promote Indian culture. Correct. Okay, so let's move to the next news. Iran to hold discussions with UK, France and Germany. So Trump is coming. So obviously they will start doing discussion, and already the IAE chief was also in Iran. So before we jump into this news, let us understand what is International Atomic Energy Agency. So this is also a UN agency. So it is an intergovernmental organization. What is an intergovernmental organization? That any country which is part of it, its government is represented by it, and the government will be representing it by its members there or any official member. So it seeks to promote peaceful use of nuclear energy and inhibit the use of uranium for nuclear purposes or nuclear weapons, for any military purposes including nuclear weapons. It was established in 1957 and India was one of its founding members. Currently it has 178 members and India is one of its founding members. 178 member states, India being one of the founding members. So it was established at atoms for peace, because atoms obviously they are used in nuclear bombs, but in this context they are saying atoms for nuclear peace. So if a question comes, for match of the following atoms of peace, then you can put it against IAEA. So organization of the UN and governed by its founding treaty, the Statute of IAEA, and the headquarters in Vienna, Austria. It reports to both UNGA, that is United Nations General Assembly, and also United Nations Security Council. So it reports to both UNGA, plus UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council. It has 178 members. India is the founding member, and it came in 1957. And please remember, atoms of peace. Now let's go to the next one, that is JCPOA. That is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Iran Nuclear Deal. So this is also known as 2015 Iran Nuclear Deal. So there were P5+1 countries. They worked for a very long period of time from 2013 to 2015. For around 2 years, there was continuous negotiations with Iran on this particular thing, and then only you get. So I think there was noise of crackers. I'll repeat it. So P5+. Just give. I think it is continuously going on. Let me continue with it. So the JCPOA or the Iran nuclear deal, the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. So the P5+1 countries. So they worked for around 2 years, which included China, France, Russia, UK, US, and Germany. And eventually P5 is the permanent 5 members. So P5 members, basically, which has the veto power in United Nations Security Council, and +1 was Germany. So easiest way to remember is P5+1. So they worked for 2 years and eventually they came out with this Iran nuclear deal, and which came in 2015. Under the deal, Iran agreed to significant cut its stores of centrifuges and enriched uranium. See, once the enriched uranium reaches the 90% stage, then it can be used for nuclear weapons. So at this particular deal, it was that it should be around 3.75 or 3.5%. I'll give you the exact number in the coming slides. But now, if you say, if I talk right now, currently, the enriched uranium has reached around 60% in Iran. So if once it crosses the 90% threshold, they can create nuclear weapons. So under this deal, Iran agreed to significantly cut the stores of centrifuges, enriched uranium, and heavy water and all key components of nuclear weapons. And since they did this, on the other side, what they did, they relaxed some of the sanctions which have been put against Iran. And for this, just for the records, Barack Obama also got the Nobel Peace Prize. And in 2018, Donald Trump unilaterally or unanimously comes out of this Iran nuclear deal, because they said even when this deal was done, the Iran continued with its nuclear weapons program, and Barack Obama had done multiple operations, multiple people were killed across various operations. So the Barack Obama getting the Nobel Peace Prize, many critics and many analysts have questioned that he should not have got the Nobel Peace Prize. He was not the right person, but again, that has been given. So Iran also agreed to implement a protocol that would allow inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency to access its nuclear sites to ensure Iran would not able to develop nuclear weapons in secret. So they allowed that the IAEA, those people can come, they can inspect it, the inspectors can come, they can inspect it that we are doing or not. So while the West agreed to lift the sanction related to Iran nuclear proliferation, some sanctions remain, specifically related to human rights violation and Iran's ballistic missile program. Those sanctions remain. So US under Donald Trump presidency, they came out, that I've already told you. That happened in 2018. Now, let's come to the news. I've given you the basics of what is IAEA, and I've also given you the basics of what is 2015 Iran nuclear deal, or JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Okay. So moving further, Iran has announced a high-level meeting with France, Germany and UK scheduled to discuss regional, international and nuclear issues. Majorly it is about nuclear issues and the regional issues that is related to Palestine and Lebanon. Why I talk about Palestine and Lebanon? So there is an organization called Axis of Resistance. Now this is the organization which is the head organization of Hamas, Houthis and Hezbollah and many other proxy terror groups. Now they would also, so Iran is the one which controls them, because Iran gives them the money, Iran gives them the logistic, food, missiles, drones and everything, and then they attack Israel. So again, even Donald Trump knows this, and Benjamin Netanyahu knows it, that until unless we don't, control Iran, we cannot control these groups, because these are puppet groups. These are proxy terror groups. These are like non-state actors. Though Hamas cannot claim that it's a non-state actor, because it has, its links with Palestine in the political arena also, and same can go for Hezbollah also. But anyways, these groups can only be controlled if you can control Iran, and specifically the supreme leadership of Khamenei and his supporters. So they would definitely talk about Palestine, Lebanon, how can there be a ceasefire out there, and international nuclear issues. Dialogue follows recent heightened tension over Iran's nuclear program. So what recently, since Iran or Israel war is going on, so recently Russia has said that it can use its strategic nuclear weapons against Ukraine, and there are a lot of deals which is happening between Iran and Russia behind the doors, which can also be related to transfer of some nuclear technology or the last stages of Iran weapons nuclear program they might need. So, and Iran though they have not said in public, but there are certain reports which say that they are working on the nuclear program, and if need, they can use it. Okay. So recent censor by the United Nations International Atomic Energy Agency, how Iran is currently enriching its uranium. I just told you, once it crosses the 90 barrier, then it becomes a nuclear weapon. So nuclear issues, efforts to revive cooperation and reduce ambiguous about Iran's nuclear activities. That is why these countries are coming and talking. Aims to address the recent UN censor resolution which came from IAEA. Okay. So since 2021, Iran has reduced cooperation. So these inspectors which used to come, or the specialists which used to come from this atomic energy agency, they used to come and inspect. Now Iran is not helping them, and not cooperating with them. Reduced cooperation with the IA, deactivating surveillance device, so they don't know that are they working on their Iran nuclear program, or I mean to say nuclear program here means nuclear weapons program. If the nuclear energy is used for peaceful purposes, that is not the problem. Now uranium enrichment levels have been increased to 60% purity, nearing the 90% threshold. Once you reach the 90% threshold or above, that is required for the nuclear weapons. That is the problem. And the 2015 agreement said around 3.67%. I told you it's around 3.5, 3.6. It should be 3.67% as per the 2015 nuclear deal. So they came out of the deal was broken. So even if it would have been 10% or 20%, it could have understood. But it has now reached 60%. And if the Iran and Israel war, or rather I should say Iran and Israel's current crisis continues, this 60% would also definitely increase, and that is why it is alarming bells for the Europe and other countries. Okay, so on November 21st, that is November 21st, 2024, IAEA passed a resolution criticizing Iran's limited cooperation, and that is why these countries are coming and they are trying to talk to Iran, because if it crosses 90%, if they get their nuclear weapons, you can just imagine what kind of threat and what kind of chaos it will create in the West Asia, and that will not be a good news. So IAEA chief Rafael Grossi, again he was in a visit to Iran, and once he visited Iran, Iran showed that they are ready to cooperate and talk. So that was a good part. This is also a fact. IAEA chief is Rafael Grossi. Now Iran countermeasures. So what is Iran is doing? They talk, okay, we will work with you. So they will keep saying this, we will work with you, and we will make sure that your inspectors come, and if they want to search all these premises, that would be done. So everything, they are very sweet talkers, but what happens is once these Americans and Europeans are gone, they will keep working. So they'll talk on the sidelines, they're working on the enrichment program. So in the countermeasures, announced the deployment of new and advanced centrifuges, increasing uranium enrichment capacity. So they're saying, okay sir, we will not make these nuclear weapons, we are not working. And then you need more centrifuges to enrich from 60 to 70 or 80%. That is simultaneously happening. So, they are lying on face, they are lying on your face. So this is exactly the problem the Europeans and Americans are facing. So centrifuges play a pivotal role in enriching uranium by isolating the fissile isotope uranium-235. So this is an important fact from science point of view. Moving further, Iran's position, President Masoud Pezeshkian's stance in power since July 2020. So he advocates dialogue to resolve doubts and ambiguities. So again, see, the president is talking about that he wants to resolve it, but the intent seems to be very different. Do you understand that what they say and what they do are absolutely two different things? So it is talking like, it's like Pakistan, yes, we want good relations with India, and simultaneously they are giving, they are giving Kargil to us, they are giving Pulwama to us, they are giving Uri to us, all these terror attacks. And simultaneously they will talk, no, we want good relationship with India. India should come to Champions Trophy to play in Pakistan. I'll give you one more example. Now they want India to play in Pakistan, that come play Champions Trophy, and Virat Kohli would be welcome and whatnot. At the same time, when they got the trophy, so there is a trophy tour which happens. So they had selected 5 locations. Out of 5 locations, only 1 location was in Pakistan, rest 4 location was in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Now why were they doing this? Because to show that these POK areas belong to us, and make it legitimize, or make it that these areas legitimately belongs to Pakistan. And because they know sports is a soft power, and if the media will start covering, it will start showing that these 4 areas belong to Pakistan. So that was the intent of it. That is what exactly I'm trying to tell you, that what they say and what they are doing is absolutely different. Same goes for Iran also. Okay. Now reaffirms commitment to technical and safeguards cooperation with IA despite growing tension. So they are reaffirming, but if this will happen or not, only time will tell. Balancing act. While pushing for advanced nuclear capabilities, Iran seeks diplomatic solution to reduce international concerns and pressures. I am telling you, Iran is currently meeting them because Donald Trump has come in the path. If Biden and Democrats would have come in the path, they would have not even thought about it, because Trump is very clear what he needs to do with Iran. Giving a blank check to Benjamin Netanyahu, time will tell, though he is in constantly touch. So let him get the power. In January, you will see the changing colors of Iran as a chameleon. Okay. Now, challenges in reviving 2015 agreement, escalating enrichment level. It has already reached 60%. It should come down. Once it reaches 90%, then you get a nuclear weapon or above. Lack of surveillance, deactivation of monitoring, and restrictions on the inspectors of IAEA. So if they are not allowing these inspectors, we need to work with Iran. They should allow it. Geopolitical implication, there would be very hard geopolitical implication if Iran is able to make a nuclear weapon. Very, very harsh, because then they can threaten Saudi Arabia, UAE, most of the countries in West Asia, including Israel. Because once you become a nuclear power, you become North Korea. Okay. So the continued enrichment and deployment of advanced technology poses significant challenge to global non-proliferation. And if Iran gets its technology, many countries which have a like-minded nature like Iran, or many countries in Africa which are run by dictators, they might also get this technology if Iran is ready to sell them. So this is the main question. Iran's nuclear program remains a focal point of international diplomacy. Analyze the challenges and opportunities in addressing Iran's nuclear ambition, considering the role of IAEA and multilateral dialogues. Now let's go to the next important news. That is climate deal a mere illusion. Rather, India has said that this deal is a optical illusion. Optical illusion, and this is a wonderful mains question it can become. India said that the climate change deal is an optical illusion, elucidate. And then you need to know what happened in the entire COP29 and before that. So COP29 has been finished. It happened at Baku, Azerbaijan. The best part, the hypocrisy. Now it is happening at Azerbaijan, which is 90% exporting oil and gas. So it is exporting fossil fuels. And climate change meeting is happening, COP29 is happening in a country which is selling oil and gas. So this is a hypocrisy, that you want to control greenhouse gases and the country which is selling them. Same thing happened in Dubai also. Okay. So anyways, this is the hypocrisy. Let's move inside the news. That is conference of the party. It has ended. Concluded after an extended negotiation with the adoption of roadmap, a less robust of agreement. And I've been covering this news for a while now. I told you nothing great will come out of this. Only, India and the, LDCs or the like-minded countries, they would be criticizing. They kept on criticizing this more. This article is more of, what are India's apprehensions and what they could not achieve, which you can write in an answer. So despite progress in carbon markets, the conference failed to beat the most important thing. This COP29, the focus was NCQG, that is new collective quantified goal, which basically meant giving money and funds or technology to the developing countries, and that's not happening. I've covered this a lot in the previous lectures. They will never give you technology and they will never give you the intended funds, because the developed world, they might say it, but they never agree that they were the real countries who had contributed immense greenhouse gas emission during the industrial age, and that is why we are today suffering. But today these developed countries talk about that it should be, all this responsibility should be shared. Yes, it should be shared, but the sharing parameters should be different. It cannot be that 100% divided equally. It cannot be divided. Since you made the major contribution to greenhouse gas, which led to global warming, which is leading to climate change. What is climate change? Climate change is global warming plus the consequences of global warming. And global warming is that, heating up of the atmosphere and earth, which is happening. So there's a difference. Global warming is a part of climate change. So the developed countries, they might feel that they want to share, but the sharing responsibility of them should be higher. Okay. So NCQJ is a flop. Climate finance target. Now developed countries agree to lead efforts to mobilize $1.3 trillion annually by 2035. Now just to tell you, this we need right now. This 1.3 trillion we need right now. But now it has been pushed for 11 years. 2020, 2035 it will happen, with a base figure of $300 billion per year. Now we needed this number. We needed this number. Man, now we would be getting $300 billion. Initially, it used to be $100 billion. Now it has moved to, so you might feel that $300 billion is a big number. It is not, because this fund will go to multiple developing countries, and then you will get only peanuts. So NCQG, as per the Paris Agreement, this is COP15. COP15 was your Paris Agreement, and Section 6A is also very important. Section 6. It aims to provide financial support to developing countries for transitioning from fossil use and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So first of all, they are not ready to give money. And when you want renewable technology, the European Americans, they have made it. They say that you can buy this technology. So first of all, they polluted the environment. Now they are not ready to give money. And if you want their technology, they say that please buy this technology from us. So that is the hypocrisy. They are not giving you money, and if you want technology, they are not ready to give you technology. And that is the basic contention, or that is the basic issue which India and other developing countries have with the developed world. This falls short of 1.3 trillion demand by developing. Now the demand was 1.3 trillion per year. What they got? $300 billion. So, and that 1.3 trillion has now been pushed to 2035. So you are basically pushing your climate change objectives also in future. And with Trump coming in power in January, I don't even know this, you will get this $300 billion or not also. It might get reduced to a lesser number. So developing nation received $115 in 2021 to 22, far below the required amount. India and Nigeria have criticized, and this is a statement which you need to write, or which you need to know. India called the agreement optical illusion, opposed its adoption, a stance supported by other nations like Bolivia and Nigeria. This is just an optical illusion. It is just, given an illusion that you are working for climate change goals, but actually you are not. So carbon market agreement, that is something which came out. A major achievement was finalizing central carbon market mechanism. You know why this was established? Because developed countries can make money out of it, because when it comes to carbon credit and technologies, they are far ahead of developing countries. This is Article 6.4. From a fact point of view, please remember, facilitating climate plan delivery. The agreement is expected to provide financial flows and capacity building support. Reaction and criticism. Now, UN perspective, Simon Steele, Executive Secretary of UN Climate Change, said these commitments are only good if actually these funds come. Now, just to tell you, this 300 billion and these kind of money has been told earlier also, but you need to create binding agreements. That is why India keeps on saying binding agreements. So how this money is coming, nobody knows. Which country will contribute which amount of money, nobody knows. That is the problem. India says, you can say that I will give you $1 trillion, $2 trillion, but where is this money coming from? Which country will contribute? It will go to which country? Which account this money will come? When will this come? What time this will come? What date this will come? What year this will come? That nobody knows. So again, this is just, okay, you will get $500 billion. Okay, today you are the king of Earth, you are king of Mars. It is something like that. Okay, nobody knows. So expert opinions say prisoner of geopolitics, insufficient financing or mitigation, vague nature of roadmap, lack clarity. Again, same repetition thing which we have been keep hearing for the last 7-8 days when we started covering this news. Developing nation frustration. Obviously, they said this is paltry. That is, this is like peanuts in Hindi, chillad. Okay, so it is peanut. This is no money. I'm laughing because I've been covering this news now for 8 or 9 days. Every day I cover the same thing. There is nothing new. Every day India would be giving this statement. Today we are just covering this because it is the this summit is over. Okay, the COP29 is over. Okay, so many, and then also it did not in the stipulated time they were not able to come to this conclusion. They took extra time to come on this also. So again, India's objection, official COP records, it would be recorded in an official record symbolizing dissatisfaction with the multilateral process. Challenges ahead. So new nationally determined contributions needs to come up. They will come, which focuses on all greenhouse gases and sanction to keep the 1.5 degree Celsius warming limit. Now to do so, you need money and funds and technology. So you can create any goal. It is something like that. I will become All India rank 1 in UPSC civil services in first attempt. But then you don't study. You don't get the books. You don't practice MCQs. You don't practice your mains answer writing. You don't do anything. You only plan, okay, you do only strategic planning, okay, 1 year planning, then 10-month planning, then 8-month planning, then 6 month, then 5 month, then how to crack UPSC prelims in 30 days, then 15 days, then 10 days, then 1 day. This is exactly what is happening. They are just planning. How is it happening? How the funds will come exactly. So this is just to give you an example. UK and Brazil have committed to ramping up their climate action plans. Okay, so with this we have more or less covered everything which has happened in this news. So geopolitical implications are there, collective action. So many countries, Russia-Ukraine crisis, Israel-Hamas crisis, many countries, geopolitically there are problems with them. So there's a problem of funds. If war is going on, obviously nobody will focus on climate change. And Donald Trump has stated that famous statement, drill baby drill. So his focus is on fossil fuels. So these funds will also, so there's a mountain, this funds will also reduce and mountain of work needs to be done. So a question on mains has been given, you can go through it. Again, it's a good question, please go through it and a lot of material to write. You will get the PDF in description. So let's come to the editorial, the last news for today. So the editorial is, positive news after the last negative news of climate change. So this focuses India's urban population is projected to double from 400. So a lot of facts are there in this news. So these facts you can use in your mains answer writing also if you're writing something on the how can we improve the urban infrastructure, what importance needs to be given to urban local bodies. So urban local bodies we had covered an editorial I think on Saturday also. Okay, so that how you can make municipalities better. So double from 400 million to 800 million by 2054, necessitating significant urban infrastructure development. So urban infrastructure development needs to be done as the population is also rising. So according to World Bank report, India will require 70 lakh crore by 2036. And what we currently have is only 1/3 of it, less than 1/3 of the required 4.6 lakh crore. So current our investment is only at 1.3 lakh crore. And what do we need by 2036? 70 lakh crore. So huge amount of money is needed so that urban infrastructure can be created. If you do not, then the cities like from Bangalore to different cities, the infrastructure will start getting dilapidated and then you will have lot of repercussions on population and other factors. So challenges in urban infrastructure, municipal finance deficit. These municipal bodies, they don't have finance, they don't have money so that they can repair or create new urban infrastructure. So municipal finance has stagnated at 1% of GDP since 2002, despite municipalities contributing 45% of urban investment. So they are contributing more money, but their take in GDP is less. Their take in GDP is less. Okay, so 45% of urban investment is happening, but the amount of GDP is only 1%. So basically, in a very simple way, they are giving more money to the state or oblique center, more money is going out from them, but the money received by them to do the development of that city, they don't have, or it has got stagnant. That is what. So probably they are giving 500 rupees to the state oblique center. For example, they are giving 500 rupees to the state, but they are getting back only 50 rupees for the development. That is what author wants to talk about. Now, central and state transfers increased from 37% to 44%. So, transfers have increased from 37 to 44%. But municipalities' own revenue sources fell from 51% to 43%, reflecting low self-sufficiency. So, transfer has gone, that means money going out is from 37 to 44%, but money for themselves have reduced. Collection inefficiencies. ULBs in Bangalore, that means urban local body of Bangalore, Jaipur, collected only 5% to 20% of their potential tax revenue. Only 5 to 20%, with property tax collection at only 25,000 crore, which is just 0.15% of GDP. Now, in a city like Bangalore, Jaipur, this should be a very high number. Once they get high amount of money, then only can they help in the development, infrastructure development of Bangalore or any other city. So urban service cost recovery ranges from 20 to 50%, creating a significant revenue gap. So the collection is down to 5 to 10%, and urban service, that means the urban services which you need to give at this urban cities, that is ranging 20 to 50%. Money you are earning is 5 to 10% or 5 to 15%. So there is a certainly gap. This in a very simple way, that your expenditure is much more and your revenue is very less. Like if we take in the country terms, which we call also fiscal deficit. Okay. Low absorptive capacity, municipalities struggle to utilize available funds. Even if they are being given funds, they are not able to utilize. This is not said by me, this is said by 15 Finance Commission report. Major cities like Hyderabad and Chennai spent only 50% of their capital budgets in 2018 to 2019. Okay. Moving further in this, central scheme utilization remains low, like Amrut. So Amrut is their Atal mission for rejuvenation and urban transformation at 80%, smart cities mission at 70%. Now this number needs to be around somewhere around 90 to 95%. That means funds have been given to these municipalities, be it through Amrut scheme or the smart cities mission, but these funds are not being utilized. That means if 100 crore rupees is being given for the urban infrastructure development, only 20 crore, 50 crore or 70 crore is being utilized, not the entire amount. So these question needs to be answered. Declining PPP investment, public-private partnership investment in urban infrastructure is declining now. This is not a good news that public-private partnership is not happening, and that also shows that the private industries and private companies are also not interested in becoming part of this formula. So lack of project-specific revenues and viability funding. So major problem is that when a private investor comes, he says that I will invest 5 crore, 10 crore, 15 crore. You need to tell me that when would I start recovering money, when would my profits come. The problem is that we do not know when they will start making revenue. Or most importantly, if the private company is saying that we need to finish this project in 1 year, 2 years, there are no proper deadlines, and that is why private players in PPP model are coming out, they are declining, which is not a good news. Okay. Next is proposed reforms and strategies. Long-term structural reforms strengthen State Finance Commission to enhance financial and administrative autonomy. You need to give more autonomy to these municipalities in terms of their finance need and infrastructure needs. Empower municipalities to attract private capital through mechanism like municipal bonds or debt borrowing. They can issue debt bonds and raise funds, or they can come up with municipal bonds. So municipal bonds are what? Bonds are debt instruments. Okay, increase private sector participation in urban development, but that will only happen when you give them deadlines, and when the private sector knows when the project will get completed, what is the gestation period, and most importantly, when they can make money. Then medium term measure, develop a robust project pipeline to meet the 70 lakh crore investment which we need as per the World Bank. Approximately 15% should come through PPPs, requiring 250 to 300 projects annually. Now, when you need these projects annually, again you need to have a timeline. You need to exactly tell. I'm reiterating the same point. When the project will start, when the project will come, what is the gestation period, how much amount of money is needed, what amount of money as a private investor I will make. These deadlines needs to come out. This generally happens very good at the central level, but at the state level, since the corruption is also very high, red tapeism is also very high, and bureaucracy very high, this tends to the projects do not get completed until unless you are able to create a wonderful formula. Decouple project preparation from financial assistance. Investment have faltered due to inadequate preparation. Project must be designed for financial, social and environmental sustainability. That means it has to be in terms of future needs also. They need to be green projects also, which can also help in India's climate change progress. Leverage digital public infrastructure. Again and again this DPI word comes. Digital public infrastructure, computers, technology, AI, integration. Every government news talks about it, especially in public transport to enhance efficiency and scalability. Then capture land value in transport projects. Now, what are transport projects? For example, you need to see align transport hubs with urban development to move access and job proximity. So if your transport is very near to important schools, it is very near to important institution, so this will help the transport. For example, if take the example of Delhi. In Delhi, the metro is connecting all the important areas of the city. So once this happens, people traveling or using that transport, be it metro or be it any of the transport vehicles they are using, that also increases. And there's a ripple effect. Once the transport comes through an area, for example, a metro is passing through XYZ area or a particular highway, the land cost also goes up very high, which can increase the property taxes, which can help in generating more revenue for the urban local bodies or municipalities. And if they are able to make more money, they can create more infrastructures. Okay, so they can also do their land value capture. What is land value capture? I've explained here. Next is opportunities for collaboration. Government level, local, state and national alignment can be there. Private sector in terms of triple P can come together. And public participation. Informed and engaged urban citizenry. We covered the first news today in which we were talking about Mahakumbh and how youth should come. They should know what is happening in the Indian politics. Similarly, the people of the country should also know the importance of the infrastructure and the urban local bodies and municipalities. In conclusion, India must urgently address urban infrastructure, financing gap with immediate and long-term strategy, which can be triple P, or from the government side, strengthening municipal autonomy, attracting private investment, etc. And collaboration and innovation in terms of digital infrastructure, AI infrastructure, and what is happening in technology in terms of transport to various sectors, latest things needs to be adopted. So we have a question in mains. India's urban future is intrinsically linked to resolving urban infrastructure financing challenges. Discuss the structural and financial reforms needed to address these challenges and ensure sustainable urban development. So in the extra mile today, we have this news which you can cover. After health emergency, toxic air foretells a economic one. So with this, we complete our news analysis for today, that is 25th November. And we'll meet tomorrow now at the same time, 10 a.m. Please like, share the session and also press the bell icon. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.